Hello and welcome to the Daily Royal. My name is Shelby and I have been a royal watcher for the past 10 years. In this podcast, I talk about the daily events of 7 of the European monarchies. So I talk about Belgium, the UK, Denmark, the Netherlands, Norway, Spain, and Sweden. I upload Monday through Friday with occasional bonus episodes here and there. Today we are talking about all of the events from Monday, July 26th, through today, Wednesday, July 28th of 2021. As I kind of ended up anticipating, we have very little to talk about today. However, I've kind of taken a peek at the calendar, and we'll have at least 1 or 2 things to talk about next episode I record. So it'll still be a really casual episode, and then we'll go into weekly episodes from there. So I will still record on Sunday the 1st, and that will start August weekly episodes. So here's what that is actually going to look like. I will record every Sunday. I will cover any events that may happen in any of the royal households in that week. Towards the end of August, there will be some things from like Scandinavia. However, I'm still only going to do once a week through August. I need a break. That August is the time when I come up with new ideas. So August last year is when I started doing the court circular once I came back from August break. I added in some things here and there that just, I would say, amplified the game. My script or outline taking became really strong. And this time it's going to be more focused on external podcasts, external from the podcast things. I will say that much. Because I feel pretty happy with where the podcast is. I do want to change up some of the editing. So you might hear some of that changes in those August, as trial things. Just to do more fade-ins and fade-outs with the national anthems, or just change the transitions over a little bit in a way that is workable. So that will be a big thing that I do, and just some general updates probably to the website and social media accounts. That way when I come back in September, we're really strong for September, October, and November. And then December, I'll probably do the same thing where I take the month off essentially, and do weekly episodes, because things do slow down quite a bit, of course, in those 2 weeks of Christmas and New Year's. So I may completely take those 2 weeks off. We'll see what happens. I'm not even thinking that far yet. But instead of going completely radio silent during those weeks, there will be throwback episodes being posted. So I've scheduled some of them to repost. So you'll get episodes from the Daily Royal Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm not recording 2 of them. They're throwback episodes. So, just some of my favorite episodes that we've done, that I've done in the past. I really tried to focus it on 2021s because, of course, those are older. My first episode ever is going to be the first one that comes up. You can listen to that and laugh along with me. I cannot believe I'm reposting it to get more attention, but I am, which is so sad. But you can see how much we've grown since then, in terms of quality. I hope, at least. So that is kind of what's ahead. This will be the last kind of regular episode of July, just because there's nothing really scheduled for the next few days. There are potentially 2 events in Spain. that are like official events. One of those is in question at the moment, which we'll talk about in the Spain section. But that is what is coming up. So, with that, we are just going to jump right in. Today in the UK, also today in today's episode, there are like literally 2 things that have been super publicized. And so we'll talk about those. But I forgot that I wanted to talk about the Olympics, which is something I literally just did like 20 minutes before I recorded this, was like take a look at the medal counts and at tweet history and things like that. So as expected, we are still seeing congratulatory messages from the royal household. Anytime someone medals or anytime there's like a big medal happening, like a big, specifically in the Netherlands, like we're seeing, they had like a big win today. So they tweeted out, and occasionally we're seeing stuff from the British royal family, not super often, but we are seeing a couple of things when they medal. They are winning in the medal count, which we'll go over. Belgium is at 2, the UK is at 16, Denmark is at 1, the Netherlands is at 11, Norway is at 1, Spain is at 3, and Sweden is still at 0, but I'm starting to feel very confident about their women's soccer team. I guess we'll see what that looks like, but I'm feeling very good about it. Also, do not take that as any disrespect to the U.S. soccer team, women's national team. Very on board. But I like paying attention to my 7 countries. It's giving the Olympics like a more international feel, because I'm paying attention to like other countries too, not just my own. Which is something that I personally have never done. Like up until 2016, I really didn't think the world was much bigger than my small town in Ohio, and now I talk about 7 countries every day. So, you know, like it's definitely a different mindset that I have this year, this Olympics versus the last Summer Olympics, and it's adding like a bit of interest again, because you watch so many Summer Olympics only focused on like the U.S. women's gymnastics team because you're a girl and that's all you're supposed to pay attention to, and it gets, you know, kind of boring after a while. But I don't know, this year it seems a little more interesting on the U.S. women's gymnastics team, but you know, hey, like things happen and all for it. Anyway, okay, so today in the UK, this was the like first big event that has been going on for a week since the Queen took residence at Balmoral. So today, Prince Charles, who is seemingly staying at Sandringham right now, which is interesting. I don't think I've ever known him to do that. That doesn't mean he never has. It just, I've never known him to do that. It just seems a little different to me. Not bad, just different. But today he visited or attended the opening of a National Police Memorial at the National Arboretum, Memorial Arboretum. And he was, so he was there as well as Prime Minister Boris Johnson. And this was a really beautiful monument to National Police officers. And this was like a huge, huge event. I will say that from the coverage that I have seen, paid attention to, etc., it doesn't... I have not seen a ton of information about it, just from the avenues that I pay the most attention to in the UK. There is this little quote that the Duke and Duchess of, or the Prince of Wales and Duchess of Cornwall's Twitter feed shared. It said, quote, "On behalf of the nation, I would particularly like to express my profound gratitude for the valor and sacrifice of those who have laid down their lives to keep us safe. And so this is something that I recently talked about. There was, it's not super recently, but I think it was maybe in May or June, Prince William visited a police precinct that was the home base for an officer who was killed in the line of duty. And I commented how not unaffected, but like how surprised I was by the attention paid to this, because it's something that feels very normal here in the States, which is an awful thing to say. But like I was almost desensitized to it. Like it didn't bother me because I'm so used to hearing things like that all the time. And it's pretty terrible. But this was just another element of like honoring the people who are tasked with keeping us safe. And, you know, that definitely gets complicated here in the States, but I think in the UK it doesn't. I think people are generally trusting of their police, maybe not completely, but generally trusting of their police, and knowing that they are there to keep them safe ultimately. And so I think maybe that's why I like haven't paid a ton of attention to this, as it just gets very complicated to me in my American perspective, and my just anyway, I'm not going to go into like, because the thing I was planning on saying isn't accurate. Like I don't have a general distrust of police. I do have a general skepticism. I just do, but it's not like a complete distrust. It's like if I needed to be kept safe, I'm a Caucasian woman. I'm fine. I don't need to worry about my safety if I ask for help in general. But anyway, I think that is part of like why I'm like, meh, okay, whatever. But I do respect Charles's words, and the sacrifice that police officers have made to keep citizens safe. I will say that. I respect that wholeheartedly. I don't know how you can't, but I feel like I need to just clarify that. So that is what was going on public facing in the UK. I am now going to check my court circular here for the past few days. So we'll look at the 26th first. Okay. Sorry, I was reading the events for Windsor Castle, but none of them were actually from the Queen. Sorry about that. It was confusing me. So nothing on the 26th. Nothing on the 27th. It is really interesting that those are still coming from Windsor. The belief is that she is at Balmoral in Scotland. But so far the court circulars are all just saying Windsor Castle, so I'm just going through and making sure that none of them are actual like events. Okay, and then today the Prince of Wales this morning did receive the President of the Republic of Kenya. And he did this at Sandringham, which is why I made that comment earlier. I did forget they announced that. publicly. I knew that happened. I just kind of forgot what day. So he is on an official visit to the UK. And that is what some of these like Windsor Castle events were, is there was a representative of the Queen to greet him at the airport. So that is what is going on public facing in the on the court circular side of things. Again, you guys, we are fully in summer mode, like fully there. It's just a matter of like, there were a couple of things that I wanted to cover this week, and then I know there will be a few things next week, and I just wasn't completely ready to start to like give up recording every day. Obviously, I'm recording twice this week and once next week, but like still. So anyway, we also had in the past couple of days, King Felipe of Spain has been in Peru for the transfer of power to the new president of Peru. I want to make sure I get his name right. It's Pedro Castillo is the new president of Peru. So there has been kind of this like political nightmare going on in Peru since I think November. The former president was impeached for various suspicions of corruption, like just various things. So he was impeached and removed, and then ran for like a seat in the parliament and won, but in that time it had been revealed that he and his family and his close friends were vaccinated with a COVID-19 vaccination approved in Peru before it was available in Peru. Like they received it before it was widely available, just as like another form of corruption. And so he is now barred from holding office for 10 years, which is interesting. And then they've gone through like a series of presidents in between. Like since November, there have been now 3. The first one was like a step in from the like head of the parliament kind of thing. And then we had another step in when the party changed. Like it was just a lot. And now there's a new president. So it's kind of boring. Like it's not boring to me, but it's not royalty related. But I just wanted to give you like some context to this. That isn't royalty related now, because I've said King Felipe, this is what King Felipe does. The head, he is, as head of state, attends these inaugurations, is what I call them, because that's what we call them in the States. They're called like tomar de possession, or taking of possession, in Spanish, but like I don't speak Spanish on this podcast very often, so I call them inaugurations because that's what they are to me. And so he has attended these very often, especially since his Prince of Asturias days. I think, in fact, this was like his first international trip at a very young age, was for a tomar de possession. And this is his, I think they said in the article I was reading today, like his 9th since becoming king in 14, which actually seems low, but there was, he's done 4 in the past 2 years, or in the past year and a half, actually. Ecuador, Uruguay. He just did one, Bolivia? I think he just did Bolivia early this year, and then now Peru. And I think, I don't know that he has he had done Argentina's. But anyway, this is something that is normal because these are all former Spanish colonies that still have very close ties to Spain. Which, speaking of, this is also today, actually, is the bicentennial for Peru of their independence. So they became independent of Spain. That notice was signed on July 28th of 1821. So that is a really cool thing that they had originally planned large celebrations for, but Peru is currently very much struggling with the pandemic just due to so many government changes, lack of strong leadership, etc. And just in general, I mean, look, everyone is struggling again with the pandemic. This Delta variant is like horrible, and it's not good. But with that being said, like, if you're from the States, there are countries that are struggling way more than we are, and Peru is one of them. And obviously, like, Cuba has been another that is just being crushed by this pandemic in a new way, which sucks. So anyway, the kind of series of events, now that this is, I think, my fourth one that I've talked about, I'm kind of getting used to it. I was very surprised that King Felipe arrived as early as he did yesterday. I think, so Peru is an hour ahead of me. It's like 1 hour earlier than it is where I live there, which I still don't understand how, but because it's like on my same latitude line, or longitude, probably. But anyway, whatever. That is neither here nor there. I think it has something to do with daylight savings time. Like, they don't observe it. And I do. So anyway, he arrived pretty early in the morning, like 9 a.m., 10 a.m. That's when they shared it, so he probably arrived even earlier. Arrived and then immediately went to the Spanish embassy in Lima, where he met with the Spanish diplomatic delegation and any, like, relatives that they have there, as part of, like, this is something that they do in every state visit, foreign visit, etc. Anytime they go to another country, they will have a meeting with the Spanish delegation, and sometimes Spaniards living in the country. I think that has been kind of toned down because of the pandemic. But, so that was first. And then in the evening was a little bit bigger of a celebration. First, he met with Pedro Castillo, who was then the president-elect, then attended a tribute to Peru, because they are also holding their bicentennial today, and, celebrations yesterday as well. There was, like, this tribute to just Peru and its countryhood, that King Felipe and any other head of state that was there attended. I do think he held his bilats today. Okay, sorry, I'm getting out of order. Sorry. And then he held a meeting with the current president of Peru, whose name is Francisco something. I have forgotten his name. I have it written down, but I will say I haven't been great at keeping my outline because there hasn't been a lot going on, so I have to go to my website to take a look because I was slacking. So he met with Francisco Sagasti, who was yesterday the current president of Peru. So much confusion. So that was yesterday. And then today he held bilaterals with the presidents of Colombia and Chile, and then went and held, like, a meeting with all the heads of state that were there. I will also say this is the first foreign trip for the new foreign minister accompanying the king. since he was just installed like a couple of weeks ago. I miss the old foreign minister a lot. I liked her a lot. And look, I don't know all the politics of Spain, so like I know there was some controversy in the Morocco thing with her, but I liked her a lot, so I was really sad to see her go. But anyway, and then they held this like full meeting with all the heads of states that were present. I don't remember who else was there, honestly, but then they like met at a fire station kind of thing, like a historic fire station building. I don't know, it looked really cool, but it felt very strange. And then they walked because there is so much going on in Peru right now politically, it was very secured, like very secured. So they walked to the Congress, is what I'm going to call it, where they were witness to the oath, the speech that President Castillo gave, and then the ceremony was over, and then there was a lunch afterwards celebrating that Felipe, of course, attended and sat next to the new president at. And so that is foreign visit number something. I don't know. It's my fourth time covering taking a possession kind of thing. But foreign visit, like 5 or 6 of the year, it's still there still aren't a ton. Someday maybe. I don't know. Maybe next year. maybe not. So anyway, that was all going on. King Felipe then left Peru and is now either back or near back to Spain. However, there was some, and this is not like, this is the one time I'm going to break my like official thing. There was some sad news for Queen Letizia over the past couple of days. So yesterday, it was announced that Queen Letizia's grandmother passed away. She was 93, so like she had a very long life. Menchu Alvarez del Valle, she, like I said, was 93. But I just wanted to briefly mention that. I won't talk about any of the details because she was a private person, and that is how her family would like her to remain. But I did just want to say that I honestly don't think it will affect anything. Queen Letizia does have, again, this is still rumored, it's not an official calendar event, but she does have something scheduled for Sunday. And that so far has not changed, but because it was never on the calendar, I won't know until Friday at this point if it is happening for sure or not, and that was always the case. But I don't expect it to really change too much, in all honesty, not because Letizia does not love her grandmother. This was actually someone she was very, very close to. Read at her wedding. She lived in Asturias. Like, she is very important to Queen Letizia, just from everything that I have read so far. So I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that keep calm and carry on in Spain is a real thing right now, and it has to be. And I just wanted to like acknowledge that passing here. But again, I don't want to talk too in depth about it because she was a private person, and that's how her family would like her to remain. So that is what we are doing. But I just wanted to mention that. It was very sad, though. I will say that. I was very sad. And so that is the end. It's a really sad way to end this podcast. I should have done that at the beginning. But anyway, that is the end of this episode, the end of regular-ish updates. I know the past couple weeks have been kind of sporadic, but that's just how the events have been. So I will start weekly updates on August 1st. That'll go up August 2nd, and then we will have, like I said, those throwback episodes are going to go up Wednesday and Friday. So there will be episodes 3 days a week, only a new episode every Monday, but please check out those old ones. They're funny, if nothing else. It has the very, I think the one that comes out on Friday, it has the very first time, like, any of the royals were gathered together, which also happened to be, like, a really sad occasion. But we talk about that. And it's so funny to me now that was like it was a 15-minute episode. So that's the thing, is they're very short in the beginning, because I had no idea what I was doing or how long I wanted to talk. Also, I was so nervous. No, I'm not nervous at all, ever. I just, like, have a conversation. You don't talk back, but I have a conversation. But it's really funny to me to listen to them back as I'm, like, editing them to repost. It's hilarious. I laugh out loud. But I will say that one isn't super funny because of the occasion, but it was, to me, like, how much has changed since then. So anyway, that is what's ahead. You guys, I'm having, like, a hard time. I don't know, I've already missed daily episodes, but I know I need it. It's just, I'm gonna miss it. So anyway, I will be back on Monday, and I will talk to you all then. Have a fantastic couple of days. Bye.